So I am here today on the Gangsta Guru with my friend and medicine woman who has trained a great deal in Peru with the Andean culture, the Andean curanderas. I was trying to think of the first time I met you. And it was at a Christmas party. And I distinctly remember standing in the hallway and I met you, and it was just a moment that's kind of crystallized in my memory of I think it was Barbara Carpenter who gave those fabulous parties at Christmas. Anyway, that's my first memory of Miss Beverly Nickerson. Beverly, any idea how long ago that was?
No, that was a while ago. Well, I would say about 14 years ago.
You think?
Yeah, my first trip to Peru was in 2006, so I think it was around then.
Okay, so Beverly, I'm just going to turn it over to you and we'll just kind of have a dialogue.
Sure. I just wanted to, because of everything going on in the world, there's so many glitches everywhere. I was looking for you on Google this and all these different things. I just wanted to center everyone with just a little bit of chimes and slow breathing and just breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And one more breath in and out.
Husa! Woo!
And smile. Yeah. So thank you for having me. I find feathers. I live in Reston, Virginia right now, and I find feathers every week. And so I have found some owl feathers, which we all know is about being a wise woman. So I'm going into my wise woman phase. And I had already had a collection of turkey feathers from when I used to go up to Martha's Vineyard. There are a lot of wild turkeys there. And the wild turkeys is about the giveaway. So anyway, I did go to Peru in 2006. And 2007 twice, and 2013. And I created a mesa, and in the Andean culture, what they do is they get different stones. Now they could just be stones right in my own little river, or they could be fancy crystals, and you wash them and you charge them and you put them in a beautiful piece of cloth. And this is what you use to do your healing. And I haven't done too many in-person healings lately, but we work on the dantian, the area from your belly button down to your privates there. And then we work right here on the solar plexus, and then right here on the crown chakra.
Okay, so Beverly, can I ask you, just for the benefit of people who are listening, how did you make it? What's inside of this mystery box? And can they make their own?
Yeah, you could definitely make your own. These are stones that I found outside, and some of them I did get them when I was on a journey in Peru, Lake Titicaca. They have these beautiful islands in the middle. They have the islands of the floating reeds. And I don't remember this particular island. It was just in the middle of the lake, and they had these beautiful stones everywhere, and I put some of them. So they were very important to me. But let's say, for example, you were born in Boston, and your Apu, which is really the spirits of the mountain, is the largest mountain near you. For me, it's the White Mountains of New Hampshire. You could go there and get some stones from your Apu, your personal Apu, which would be the biggest mountain that was near you when you were.
So they're sacred places to you. They're individual, personal, sacred places. Anybody can do it and put them in a box of a certain type, a box. Like what's under the blanket?
Yeah, this is the blanket. This is a beautiful piece of cloth. Yeah, and I put them in the moon to charge. So when we have a new moon, that has to do with what we want to bring in. And then of course the full moon, what we want to let go. So you can actually take these stones out during the full moon and put like a tiny bit of sea salt, and it cleanses them because want to cleanse them periodically. And you can just open it up and put in new stones. I even put in some shells.
Bueno. I don't know if you know this, but I have an undergraduate in biology and chemistry. And one of the things that I know to be true is that people laugh about crystals and Atlantis and charging your crystal and putting intention in your crystal. However, the chemical composition of quartz, which these rocks are, is SiO2, silicon dioxide. Right. What is silicon? What is Silicon Valley? What's in your freaking computer? A silicon chip. So if you can program a computer, you can program a rock. It's chemistry, folks. It's real science. It's not fake science.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how we communicate. Like, I have no idea how they created this Zoom or, think about it. When we were kids, it was like not even thought of that we'd be able to communicate this way for free. And it's the same thing with the crystals. You can communicate using the crystals, and you can also cleanse people's energy. Like my son, he does the crystal bowls. We have these huge bowls, and we're 75% water or 70% water. So each bowl coordinates with a chakra, and then it actually, just like Emoto proved, with the beautiful music as opposed to really negative hard rock or something, or some of the rap music, it creates these beautiful crystals in our body.
So for those of you who don't know, I think his name is Massimo Emoto?
Oh yeah, Emoto.
Emoto wrote a book on programming water. And you can put your intention under a glass of water and literally say happy, sad, and it changes the chemistry in your body. And these are like scientific. So look at Emoto's book, like read it, because it will change your perspective. If you're a non-believer, you will start talking to your water.
Yeah, he shows the water under a microscope, and they look like these beautiful snowflakes, and they're all unique. But if the water is exposed to very negative, harsh music or an environment, then it has a very I guess it would be not symmetrical, beautiful form. Right. And you can feel that just when you walk into someone's house too, if there's been a lot of arguing or alcoholism. And so that's another thing I learned.
Or someone's energy field. You walk into a person and you're going, ooh, that person creeps me out. Okay, why? You're feeling the vibrations, and you have to learn to trust. Beverly, I want to run something by you because I'm just learning about the Mayan culture. And in Teotihuacan, the Pyramid of the Sun, Teotihuacan means the place where men become gods. And it's famous, world famous, for its natural obsidian. And the shamans of Teotihuacan use obsidian knives to cut energy threads. So I'm all into the Mayan thing now because I'm planted here and I'm paying attention. I want an obsidian knife so I can cut some bad energy threads. Do you have anything like that in the Andean paradigm?
Yeah, I just got some obsidian myself, actually. This couple friend of mine, I guess they were in the Grand Canyon. They asked me if I wanted a crystal, and I asked for some obsidian. So it's really good for protection, the obsidian. Now, in the Andean culture, they use, I have these swords, and they're made out of, I think it's called chanta wood, and this is a black wood, and we use this to cut all unhealthy attachments. So anyone you've had an intimate relationship with over your lifetime.
Ooh, I need that. I have about 17 cuts.
Yeah, and a lot of us do. I went to a peyote ceremony that was done about 2 months ago by some authentic medicine people from Mexico. And they had us write down, some of us were mortified, all the names of the people you've ever had sex with. and then put it in the fire. Because you can still have this attack, especially as a woman, men not so much, but as a woman, we can carry those attachments for about 7 years. So that's why in a lot of the indigenous culture, some of them, they say, be very careful who you go out with.
Too late, Beverly. It's too late for me.
Well, it's not. Well, just take the sword, open up the 4 directions and cut the unhealthy attachment and put it into like a cauldron of fire, or put it into the core of the earth, and it's okay, because that's where you were at then, but you don't want to carry it around now. So that's what they use.
No residuals, especially for some. I mean, really, like, who was that woman? I don't know who that woman was.
And then aromatherapy, I've been working with Mikhail Zayat. He's originally from Egypt. He's been an aromatherapist for over 40 years. And right now, I think we all could use some self-love. And it's scientifically proven, if we're into, because they that just smelling the rose smell will calm your nervous system. And so it has some rose in here, and it has some other wonderful, like frankincense, and all of that will help to not only calm the nervous system, open up the third eye. And as you know, the rose is connected to Mother Mary as well. A lot of people smell her. So I always...
Yeah, you always do aromatherapy. So you kind of mix cultures. You kind of do Egypt.
I do. I'm very eclectic, because like I said, I did the Andean thing, but I was more like also the student and then bringing people there. But then I started learning some African shamanism. So now, since the pandemic, I took 2 courses online, and I have my altar with all of my ancestors there.
So many things. You're pinging so many things. The obsidian, let's go back to the obsidian and the knives, is so sharp naturally that they don't have to sharpen it. Okay, they don't have to hone it and cut it. It comes like that. It is the naturally occurring sharpest stone. In fact, in the Mayan culture, the shakmuls would use it. The high priests of the Mayan culture would use it to slowly cut out the heart of the sacrificial victim. They would reach up inside the chest and like rip the heart out and hold it up to the sun. But they would use an obsidian knife. Yeah, well, I don't know. We have our own version, but we won't talk about that. Anyway, that with the obsidian is powerful because it goes back to the Mayan culture. And I have a jeweler, if anybody's interested, I can give you the number of a jeweler here who makes reproduction Mayan obsidian knives. He lives in Teotihuacan, where the obsidian...
I think I need one.
Okay, is mined. And I'll send you a picture because I'm going there. I'm leaving this week, at the end of this week. But back to Beverly. Beverly, I have so many questions for you.
That's okay. I was looking for, because I must have gotten the memo from you etherically. It's just in the last week, I started putting some black crystals just in my bra for extra protection for what we are going through, because I watched the astrology reading of Pam Gregory. And I know you're big into history, and we have the same astrology that we had right before the American Revolution. And and it's really important for us to be brave and to be strong and to come into our warrior self without all the anger, because the anger can cause your liver to be imbalanced, and you can just end up hurting yourself more and becoming acidic, because viruses like acidic environments. So even if
as does cancer, as does all the diseases. I like the
according to Anton.
Well, so my spirit guides speak to me in Broadway songs and rock music. So the song in my head right now is John Lennon. You say you want a revolution, all right. We all want to change the world. You know the song? Okay, they're singing in my head in this moment. Yeah.
I got goosebumps. I just got goosebumps. Yeah, it's here. And if you watch that video, I put in my newsletter I have a newsletter that goes out every month. I just put it out. Something told me to put this, even if you don't believe in astrology, it's so accurate with this Pluto return. It's right at the cusp of what happened right before the American Revolution. Mm-hmm. And all of this stuff is coming up to be healed. All these truths are coming out. So anyway, it is a good time to put your protection on as you go out, even if you don't listen to the mainstream news.
I think because the energies are getting so polarized and it's becoming very clear, the dark and the light. I mean, it's just becoming very clear, and there is just a choice to make. And I have another song in my head. It's a Natalie Merchant song, and it's which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on? It's a Woody Guthrie song about the unions and the scabbers, but it fits in this time because you got to decide. Because we're all playing for one team or the other, right? There's only two teams. Well, you got to decide where you are, and then play. You can't sit on the fucking sidelines and hope it'll go away, because it ain't going away. I'm telling you, yeah.
Well, exactly. And that's the thing, like just this morning, just having the fear of, am I going to be able to log in and all of these things, and not giving up. Like we have to just keep trying right now, and then not reacting. Like I'll have someone call me and say, well, what are some good herbs and vitamins and minerals I can take to up my immune system as we're going into fall? And I'll give them that. And then all of a sudden they will ask me whether I've had the V or not. And I know that if I don't go along with what they want me to say, that they could totally ostracize me. So I'm really working on that.
The polarization is around the V word. We're not going to say the V word. Right. Now, I'll tell you where I am on that. If you say blood clot to me, I run in the opposite direction. Why? What? I say, if you say the word blood clot to me, I run in the opposite direction. Why? Roberta had a 3.5-foot blood clot from the back of her left knee to her inferior vena cava, which resulted in thrombolytics to dissolve the clot. Well, they dissolved a part of my brain, and I had a major hemorrhagic stroke. So you freaking say blood clot to me, and like I am like Roadrunner, whoo, out of there. No way am I gonna even do that. No, because blood clots have caused me a great deal of personal energy, personal time. I'm still in recovery. I woke up hemiplegic. No, I don't want another blood clot. They're not fun, by the way. And if you think it's nothing, do what you got to do. That's all I'm telling people. Do what you got to do. You have to follow your own intuition, which is your own internal GPS. And it will tell you. I read something the other day that was helpful. It says your intuition is your guardian angel talking to you. It's your guardian, your higher self, your guardian angel saying, don't go there, don't do that, do that, okay? So anyway, I want to hear, there's so many things I want to ask you. And one of them is it okay for you to talk about experiences with ayahuasca and peyote? Can you?
Sure.
Oh, gosh. I'm sure people are curious. I'm curious, so I'm sure everybody else is too.
Well, and I just decided I'm going to share it with people now. So this is perfect timing. My first experience with ayahuasca was in Peru on Monkey Island with a very solid shaman. I was with a group and we were outside, and it was like doing 40 years of therapy. I think I was about 40 then in one night, I will say. So it was intense. I mean, when you say intense, I'm talking. So anything that I hadn't processed, and I thought I had done a lot of good work with rebirthing, anything that I hadn't processed came up full force, or anyone I felt had victimized me, whether it's the guy who snatched my purse when I was 14 or whatever. They were all there and I had to face them. And it was really, really intense. But what happened was, when the shaman finally came over to me, because he didn't come over to me right away, and I was crying and screaming. When he finally came over, he was really solid. He was just like senorita focus. And they used tobacco, and he blew it in my crown chakra. and the tobacco is the masculine, ayahuasca is the feminine.
Ah.
I purged, and then I was done with that. So I was done with that particular post-traumatic stress episode.
So I want to ask you, because I put it in my own paradigm, in my own language. In Hindu philosophy, we talk about samskaras, and those are the scars on the psyche, whether from this life or another life. You bring in your samskaras, and you also create them this time. You know, inner child, all those things are samskaras, or getting your purse snatched. And then you have a mental scar, like, oh my God, that guy's gonna fucking steal my purse. No, he isn't. You're just projecting. Okay. Would you say, is it fair to say that doing ayahuasca is instantly burning all the samskaras? The 40 years of samskaras? All of them?
What I would say is that was the layer of it. And then when I did it the next day, it was a little lighter. And then I did it again in 2009 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 13. I did it every year, twice a year for about 5 years. And then once I got rid of a lot of my stuff, then I started seeing global stuff. Like all of a sudden, I'm in Africa and I'm seeing a little child as a diamond miner. And I thought, and then I heard the commercial, diamonds are a girl's best friend. And then I thought, if I ever got married again, I would never buy a diamond. So then you start going global and you start seeing global pain. And then it's impossible for you to be involved in wars and things like that, because you can feel everyone's pain. Now, if you're an empath like we are, we can already feel it. But when you drink the ayahuasca, which is being an empath, it's called, there's another word for it, empathin, I guess, you can feel everything. So that's why there are people that become instant vegetarians. There are people that, no longer drink alcohol because they see, so again, but you have to do it with a shaman that has a very good reputation, and you really have to prepare. That means no one on MAOI inhibitors or bipolar medicine should do ayahuasca unless they've gotten off that for like a year or two.
No psychotropics.
Yeah, because people who have that, the drugs are kind of on that part of the brain that's like suppressing. It's almost like you have a nail in your foot and you take a heavy duty
serotonin uptake re-inhibitor. SSRIs, I know them. Hey, you're bringing up a story for me. I stayed in Ecuador in the Napo River Valley with a shaman for about 10 days in a group. He was the leader of the community, but the story is funny because every shaman has a totem or an animal that they get their medicine from. Is that true where you are too? They have a particular animal. Okay. So this guy's shaman was the anaconda. That's where he got his medicine from. So he took us to a waterfall, okay? And we're cavorting around the waterfall. There were 3 layers of it, 3 like cascades, and beautiful. We played all day, had a great time in the waterfall. And he's sitting on a flat rock, he's really short, like 4'11", and he sat like a little frog, and he had his machete next to him all day. I mean, he just sat. We thought, oh, he's watching us play. He takes his machete into the jungle because that's his pharmacopoeia. Maybe he sees an ayahuasca plant he wants, whatever. And so at the end of the day, he said, well, my spirit animal, I told him my anaconda did not show up today. I said, no, wait a minute. I thought your anaconda was a spirit, not a real anaconda. No, it's a real fucking anaconda. And he was waiting for it to show up with his machete. I'm so glad. I would never have gone in the waterfall if I knew that, Beverly. I would like, no anacondas for me. That's a true story of me in Ecuador, in the Napo River Valley.
The reason I think you also refer to that is because ayahuasca comes in the spirit of a snake, a huge snake. So a lot of common visions.
Like Kundalini.
Yeah, like a huge anaconda. And sometimes people just get enveloped by it.
Wow.
Ayahuasca comes as a snake or sometimes as a spider. My first vision was of a big black spider. And I was outside in the jungle, so I wasn't sure if it was on the etheric level or it was real, and it was kind of
Which
scary.
way? Oh, a couple of more stories are coming, and we could talk like this forever, and we're really already over time. But yeah, because we could talk for hours. So, two stories are coming up. One is he made. This shaman had a group of trainees, if you will, who were learning from him, apprentices, like the sorcerer's apprentice, and he would take them into the jungle and he would say, use this plant for females hemorrhaging, and this plant for headaches, and this plant to heal wounds, and that was his pharmacopoeia. And he made the ayahuasca and did an ayahuasca ceremony for us that night. Now, I did not participate because I was scared shitless. Because I'm in the jungle, in the middle of nowhere, in the Napo River Valley. You couldn't even get there except in a dugout canoe. So I was like, no thanks. But I'll watch you do it. So he did it, but all day long, the village had a celebration around the ayahuasca pot. The ayahuasca had to be a certain size, a certain maturity. It had to be cooked so long, and they stirred it and sang around it all day, and then in the night they turned out all the lights, no candles, nothing. And he did a lot of whistling. Do they do a lot of whistling, Beverly? Like bird whistles?
Yeah, they do a lot of whistling, and then the shaman I worked with, he plays a flute, and he has ancient Akeros, and the Akeros are in a language that I couldn't understand. It was probably in the Andean language.
Original. Yeah.
Some of it was in Spanish, Quechua, yeah. And then because he had gone to India, he kind of weaved in some of the Indian tradition as well. But most of them, if they're just trained like in Peru or Ecuador, they sing the Akeros, and they whistle, and they use the flute, and it takes you on a journey. And if you don't speak Spanish, like I didn't know he might be calling in the jaguar, and then all of a sudden you feel the jaguar energy coming in. Yes. But it takes you where you need to go. I mean, for mine, it was very traumatic the first time, but as soon as I purged, I forgave everyone, because a lot of the things that happened to me was due to racism, and it had me see that person's grandfather who might have been a slave, and how they just looked at me as someone not as a white person, even though legally I'm a colored person according to the United States.
Well, we don't pay any attention to them anymore, I hope.
No, we don't. But I'm just saying that was a trauma, because that was part of the trauma, because sometimes it wasn't just a random attack. It was an attack on a white person, and I really wasn't that.
So you're pinging so much for me, Beverly, because my guru, I studied with a guru for 6 years, and she talked about ancestral karma that you inherit from your ancestors. She talked about national karma. Just from living in the United States, you get a download of karma. Why? Your people are doing bad shit in the world, and you, my dear, are benefiting from it. So you accrue karma by the fact that you're driving on those roads, you have plenty of gasoline, you have this, you have that, and the rest of the world doesn't, but you have it because your country started a war in Afghanistan. So you have some accountability. You have to balance that debt. Now, here's my question for you, Beverly. When you purge means vomit, okay,
yeah.
Did you vomit up kind of the benefit, the venom, if you will, of all those bites from all those people?
That's what it felt like, yeah, because it's not like when you eat something bad, because that day you pretty much fast. It's almost like, and also for me, I cry a lot during ceremony, and that's the way I purge. So because during the day, my last 20 years, I have to be, hi, I'm Beverly Earthlight, or I'm promoting this. But underneath there was this layer of sadness. And so I cry hysterically during ceremonies. And I also give permission for other people to cry. So some people cry, some people, really, really vomit a lot. Other people go, number 2 in the bathroom. Hopefully they make it to the bathroom, maybe one.
Yeah, for the rest of the people, let's hope they make it, right?
It's okay because you have a helper and they'll wash you and everything. You have a lot of helpers.
Yeah. Okay. We've got about 5 minutes, but I want you to help folks to understand, how do you choose a safe and a good shaman to be with? How do you assess the credibility of someone? Because I could be in the middle of the Napo River Valley with some fucking charlatan, you know, and they could be doing bad things and putting bad spirits into me. I don't know. I'm a little white girl. What do I know? I'm a little gringa.
For me, it just happened organically. Like I actually went to a, master degree Caucasian psychotherapist who had happened to go to Peru and incorporate that in his practice. And he's the one that introduced me to Don Martin Pinedo, the first shaman I worked with, El Condor. Now, El Condor doesn't work with ayahuasca. The women he works with, they work with the other one, which is much lighter, and it's called Huachuma. And or they call it San Pedro. It's a cactus, and you drink it, and it's very grounding, and you can actually purge a little bit with that as well. So it just happened naturally. It was like I was invited to meet him, and he did a cocoa leaf reading and said it was part of my mission. And then I had a friend that worked at the Smithsonian, and she had a shaman who was from Spain. And she said, "Hey, you want to come to my house for a ceremony?" And it just happened naturally.
Okay, so you don't need to go looking for a shaman. They find you?
I think for me, it's kind of like ayahuasca just happened. So like when I worked with the shaman, like I would just get an intuition to tell someone about it. It could be someone that works at Whole Foods. And then they might say, "Oh, for years, I've always wanted to do it." Like when I went to Costa Rica in 2018, after Mom died, the Farm of Life, they have a wonderful shaman who's from North Carolina, but he studied in Brazil. It's just a couple miles down the road. And that was part of my healing when Mom died. And actually that ceremony, I purged the pain of my mom, and then I felt much lighter. And now I wear her shell necklaces. I did want to say before I do these shell readings, Ocean Oracle, and it's by Michelle Hansen. And I do readings, and I'm offering 5 free readings. They're normally $80 to anyone who emails me, the first 5 people. And the shell that I picked was the sand dollar, and it actually represents the Christ, where he has the nails through his hands, his feet, and then right here. And then it also represents the doves. Like if it shatters, you could see the doves. And so the sand dollar means something being overlooked, the connection between the divine and one's own role in all the experiences, both good or bad. So this is good for all of us now, that knowing that we're creating a new reality. So let's focus on the highest timeline for ourselves and for humanity, because this card is all about our connection to the divine and to co-create the life that we want. And this is what I picked for everyone today. I love sand dollars. I'm
drinking to that, Beverly.
Okay.
I'm drinking to that.
I don't remember if they were on Martha's Vineyard. There was somewhere where I used to pick up a lot of them. But anyway, like I said, the sand dollar is, we may experience many difficulties. It may be difficult to accept the notion that we create our misery. The good news is that we are not victims, and we have the power to create a hell on earth or a paradise through awareness, and the choice is yours. And again, this woman that created it, I met her 10 years ago. She lives in Massachusetts, and she figured out what over 200 shells mean.
I love it. Thank you for that. That's a gift for everybody. Okay, my darling, please we will put your email in the link. Do you mind we put your email in the link below so people can get in touch with you?
Sure.
And then your Earthlight, Beverly has a communications company where she promotes different shamans and different people that are coming, fun things that are happening.
Yeah, some are on Zoom and some are in person. People are starting to feel safe, getting together in person. And I definitely am going to come visit you sometime soon.
You should, because our island is the catacomb. It is the shell. It is Shell Island. It is the island of the fertility goddess Ixchel. And she chose well.
And I'll bring you my mom showed.
Or we'll collect them on the beach.
Yeah. Are you near Tulum?
Yes, 45 minutes after the ferry.
I heard that's where all the cool advanced granola crunchies are going.
Well, don't tell them about Cozumel. It's a secret.
Well, that'll be for another one. Okay. Well, there's my promotions. Thank you so much.
Look for Beverly's info in below. And here's to us, Beverly.